If you can dream it, it can become your reality. Welcome to Dream Catchers, where we meet entrepreneurs who have left their home country to move to Costa Rica and start a business in paradise. These are real people and their real stories behind following their dreams to a little Central American paradise and how they made it work despite the odds. Welcome to Dream Catchers Costa Rica.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Dream Catchers Costa Rica. I'm Rebecca Clower, and today I have the privilege of interviewing Kay Dodge, who is the owner of the Painted Pony Guest Ranch and Casagua Horses. I am super excited. Kay is a legend, and I look forward to hearing about her story and, of course, all the info on what Costa Rica used to be for all of us. So thank you so much for joining us today on the show.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You.
I'm glad you're here.
I thank you for being here. So first and foremost, we just want to know why Costa Rica and what brought you here initially. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I was a high school teacher who was very, very fortunate to be asked to come to Costa Rica and lead a tour for the high school. We paired with 2 high schools in San Jose. And we had, the State Department was doing very creative things at that time. So we traveled Costa Rica a whole month, all over Costa Rica, more than most Costa Ricans ever did. And so I fell in love with Costa Rica.
Starting in what year?
That was 1974.
Wow.
Yes, and we did it again in 76. And then later I did it when I started teaching at the college level. Every summer I went somewhere, and Costa Rica was my favorite.
That's awesome. So then you had started visiting Costa Rica. When did you decide that this was the place that called to you and that you wanted to make it your forever home?
The first time was the very first time I was here after 30 days with the students and the teachers and going over the whole country. I just fell in love with it. And I remember going the last day on a walk with one of the teachers and saying, I'd love to live here someday. I want to come back and live here someday. So it was a dream. So it started as a dream. And then over the years, because I came back with the college students, I also ran an environmental center out of the college, and Costa Rica, of course, became our key place to go.
Awesome.
Because, you know, that was a vested interest for me, because I wanted to go back, and what better than make it part of your job.
For sure. So you're basically coming back.
I was coming
year
back
after
and
year,
forth,
let's say.
and then this is a very long story.
Yeah.
But I met the president of Costa Rica, Oscar Arias' wife, Doña Margarita, in New York when I was at a meeting of Audubon. She spoke at a dinner. And at that time, I had an environmental center in Grand Rapids, raising a lot of money through Tree Amigos. It was a kids program through schools that you raised money for Costa Rica, $25 to save an acre of rainforest. Right. At that time, you had no national parks, so they were just starting. And so I went to New York. I had $5,000 in my back pocket, and I knew Doña Margarita was going to be speaking at that, and so I went out on the street. I got a bouquet of flowers. I wrote her a little note. The kids of Grand Rapids and Tree Amigos had $5,000 for the kids in Costa Rica for their parks.
That's amazing.
And I sent it up on an elevator with a bellman, and during the meeting, I got to meet her. And then she said, well, the person who writes my speeches is a new person, Alvaro Mania, who was the Minister of Natural Resources. And so we sat down with him, and after doing a lot of things together, raising money, we became an integral part of the conservation movement here in Costa Rica.
That's amazing.
And the Center for Environmental Study probably over the years has brought more than $10 million, just $5 million alone into Guanacaste for the parks.
That's incredible.
So that was, you know, a bouquet of flowers led to millions of dollars.
You never know.
So I was bringing this money back and forth and having Costa Ricans decide where the money should go. Americans or foreigners shouldn't be deciding, or you should do this, Costa Rica. It should be the Costa Ricans say, I need this for a school, I need this for a park. Okay. So I worked for years with Alvaro, who was wonderful. You know, he became president of the center when I left. And I'm still in touch with him. But one day here in Guanacaste, we were putting some money together, and we decided that I'm going to go back to Michigan, and it's snowing in Michigan. So I'm going to come back the next time and start looking for property.
Yeah.
I'm going to live here.
You got tired of snow.
Oh, yes. Oh,
I'm
yes.
from Buffalo, so
Oh, well, yeah.
I feel your pain.
Michigan, yeah, West Michigan. West Michigan is snow, so
Yeah.
we have this all the time. So then I decided this is where I want to be, and so I started looking for property. And I didn't want to be at the beach. There'd be too many tourists eventually at the beach, but I wanted to be where I could have horses.
Sure.
Because my idea, I never had horses when I was younger, but I always rode. My cousins had horses, that sort of thing. So Costa Rica for me was a place I could have horses. I lived 20 minutes from Lake Michigan. I lived 20 minutes from the Pacific Ocean.
Exactly.
So I drew on a map, and I said, this is where I want to live. So I started looking for property.
You're close enough if you want to hit the beach.
Yeah, and it's close enough to a lot of things.
And how did you find this property?
Well, actually, there were no real
think
estate
there's no estate
agents
agents back then, I was gonna say.
No, there were a few in Liberia who showed me some property with dead cows in the ditches and things
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
I said, no, this is where I want. I drew on a map from these mountains, 27 de Abril, and so I started looking. And finally, we found this one because we went to the bar in Puerto Gulpe to get something to drink because we were out looking. And we started asking people who's got property for sale because that's how you found it.
Sure.
So there was this old guy in the bar, and he could not walk very well. So one of the guys took us out here. We walked along this back road, and I said, it's beautiful, I like it, but there's no electricity. I said, what about this side? Or what about over here? Oh yeah, they're going to sell it. They're looking for, it's been for sale for a while, an older couple that wanted to move to Santa Cruz. Yeah. And so we walked over here. We sat down with the older couple on the porch, and we bought this piece of property.
Suffice it to say, I don't think that many Americans were probably hanging out in the bar in Puerto Gulpe looking for real estate.
No,
back in those days.
no. But I was with one of the people who worked with me who was from the area, and he knew just exactly where to go.
That's what you need. You need
Yeah.
the local connection.
Uh-huh.
So then you buy this amazing.
I bought it with a girlfriend
You bought it with a girlfriend.
who used to be one of my students that I brought to Costa Rica.
No kidding.
Yeah. And so she and I figure I'd retire in 5-10 years, and she'd retire in 5 years after that, because she was that much younger than I was, a little bit more than that. So we looked at the property, we talked together, it was a great price. I probably shouldn't tell you how much it was, but. So we bought it's just shy of 50 acres. On the first plans, it looked like it was a little bit more than 50 acres, but they hadn't put the road through yet, so they cut the new road. That's my property. That road is sitting on my property, you know.
That's funny.
I just said they could have it.
That's nice of you.
Yes, it was very nice.
So then you have the farm is 50 acres.
Yes, and about a month after we bought the farm, we came out here. I already had 3 horses in 27th of April.
Okay.
Boarded. So we brought the horses over here, my partner and I. And we were out for a ride, and my horse fell on the only pavement in Puerto Gulpe. You know, for miles around the only pavement, she spread eagled. She just went right down. I'm upset, you know, of course, and I'm walking back to the ranch. I didn't even know there was a back gate to the farm, so I walked all the way along this road and came in the front gate, and the horse is bleeding. Not bad, you know, it's a cut under the arms, you know. For me, it was bad. So when the other people kept riding, they left me. And so I came back here, and by the time they came back, I said, you have to get a vet. This horse is hurt, you know, and so one of the guys knew somebody in Cartagena. He went to get him, brought him back. I married him 2 years later.
I love it. And the lucky guy's name is?
Esteban Peraza.
Very nice.
Santiago Esteban Peraza.
I always say that things happen for a reason, right?
Yeah, we've been married 29 years, so it'll be 30 years in December.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We got married in Tamarindo, and at that time, Tamarindo wasn't very big.
Yeah.
And
which is hard to believe, right?
yeah, and there was a new little bar, restaurant, little hotel called Pasatiempo.
Yeah, I know it.
And we got married there, and he came up on a white horse, poolside. And then after we got married, I had the stallion that we had, and he had the white horse. And we went down Tamarindo, we stopped at Nogie's and got a drink. Other than that, there was nothing on the beach. There was a dairy, and that's it. At that time, there were turtles coming up on Tamarindo Beach.
Aw.
Yeah.
And now it's like you don't see that.
No.
And you barely see that playground there.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, luckily we still see a lot in different areas. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of the pro and con of you know, the development that
Sure
goes
it
on.
is. It
And
sure
I think,
is.
you know, one of the things that you've done here, I feel like, is that you've preserved a lot down from even the architecture of your home and your guest homes and the, you know, just the general vibe in this whole finca. So you started with just the horses.
Yeah, there was an old house that the couple lived in, and I think one little outbuilding. That was it on the farm. They had a couple geese that I got rid of right away because they chased me. I don't like geese.
No
and
geese.
and so I didn't move to here until the college offered a early retirement package, and so I gave it a lot of thought. And my mom died at 57. I mean 57. Excuse me. And my dad died at 89. And you don't know if you're going to be dying at 57 or 89. You don't. So I took early retirement
Good for
because
you.
college offered it. Very nice. And came down here and took the risk. No telephone, no house yet on the finca. It was just something we had to live in Cartagena for 2 years while we were planning and building the house. And Cartagena was like, we had a phone in Cartagena, and I had a fax machine, a little Apple IIe, but we
Not
came to the
everyone will
farm.
appreciate those times in Costa Rica. I've been here. I've seen those times.
Yeah,
when
at
there was
least
one
at
phone.
least we had electricity on
Yeah.
the ranch. So when we built, and then we built a well. We dug a well.
I was going to ask you who brought in the electricity.
And the electricity was already here.
And the
It
water?
just came. The water was
With your own well.
a well, but it was a surface well. So we built a deep well so we could have clean, good water.
And when
But
did
it-
you get internet out here?
Oh, when did I get internet? Well, how many years ago? But we went from, it's like Costa Rica went from the 19th century and they were dragged into the 21st century. And I say it's like Costa Rica in this area
Yeah.
was like one generation out of the outhouse.
Yeah. I like that you said that before.
And our farm had an outhouse.
Yeah.
It didn't have plumbing. So one of the first things we did is we did put in some plumbing in the old house for our workers. And then as we build our house here, we build it in sections, you know, and the small part, then we added a porch, then we added a little splash pool and added another little guest house for family.
So it
and-
started evolving to
Yes.
something much bigger.
Yes, and that's the way the business evolved too.
So basically you're offering at this point tours,
Yes.
lessons, tours outside as well.
Training.
If anybody wants to, you know, go and see other parts of Costa
Yeah,
Rica.
we have our day tours, which from the hotels and people that stay here and live here. And then we have, and this evolved over a period of about 10, 15 years because we started out with tours for friends in Tamarindo, basically. And some people had their horses. They boarded them here. Some, like Don and Christy, boarded there. They actually bought our first horse
Oh, that's
from
wild.
Avianas.
Yeah, from Lola's.
Yeah, from Lola's.
That's wild.
And so we had friends from Tamarindo that came out and rode with us. We went to Chilitos to the bar and got fried chicken, that
love
sort of
it.
thing. And then we had their guests, and then pretty soon more of the tourists that were starting to come. We boarded horses for a little bit. And
Do you still do that now?
yeah, we just have a few. We have so many of our own horses. We
Yeah.
have 25 to 30 horses here that are ours.
And what kind of horses do you have here?
They're Spanish horses. Costa Ricans started out with criollos,
Okay.
and then we went to paint and pasos, and that's where the painted pony escr came from. We bought a stallion, and there was a paint, and a mare and a baby, and that started out our generation of paint horses. And then we went to, now we are looking at Ibero Americana, which are Andalusian cross, because everybody's getting bigger.
Yes.
And we're looking a little bit bigger. Criollos are small, they're beautiful, wonderful horses. They've got great temperaments. The Costa Rican horse is special. And the Spanish mixed horses, it's like hybrid vigor,
Yeah.
you know, with humans.
In
and
Guanacaste, we
animals.
obviously have a little bit of a challenging climate sometimes. So
Oh, yes, it's hard on the horses.
That's what I was going to ask you. Are there particular types of horses, breeds that you wouldn't recommend?
Well, they have hard times with Arabs here. They brought them down. They're fine with the heat in the summer, but when it starts raining, they don't do as well. Quarter horses are brought down. They do better in the mountains.
Okay.
And some of the other European horses that are brought, when Guanacaste is hot.
It is. It is.
And
hot.
it takes.
Just in case you didn't know.
Yeah. We had a horse that we bought up in Arenal, and we brought down here, and it took him about 2-3 months to adjust to be here from just Arenal.
Sure.
Yeah. So sometimes people will import horses, but I say there's wonderful horses here. You don't have to import horses.
It's kind of like importing cars.
Yes.
It's like,
yeah.
it's just better to buy something here.
Yes.
No, and I agree with you. And I think, because of the climate, a lot of people just assume that they can just, I've heard of stories of people bringing, particular horses that just don't do well here. And they
then
end up
taking them
sending
back.
them up to San Jose.
Or they bring them home, back to the States.
And it's
we
not
had some
an
friends who
easy-
did that. That's expensive.
Yes, and it's not an easy feat to bring them in.
No, the horses here, I call them, they have a nobleza, a nobleness in the Spanish horse and like the people in Costa Rica. The reason I'm here is of Costa Ricans.
Yeah. And that was my next question. I was going to ask you.
I'm married to one.
Well, that's me too. We have something
Yeah.
in common. So that was my question to you. You could have picked anywhere in the world. You landed here in Costa Rica. What is it about Costa Rica that's kept you here for so long? Because out of everybody I've had on the show, no one has been here or understands Costa Rica as much as you do, in my opinion.
Well, I think part of it is you learn from the families. On the beach, there's a whole different culture. And a lot of people come here, when they see the horses, they see beach horses, or they see the tours and things like that. But the horses of Costa Rica are different. It's the same way with people. When you get off the beach, you go into small towns. They're so loving and giving, You speak a few words of Spanish, and they love you forever. Families are so important. I'm married into a big family.
Yeah.
That is just wonderful. I had a bad infection, and I was in the hospital for 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and their family stayed with me in the hospital when Esteban didn't. He was with me every day, but he'd have to come home weekends to feed bring feed and pay the staff, that sort of thing. So they were with me all the time. And his family is so important. And the whole culture and the environment, of course, is what brought me here. The biodiversity and being part of the conservation area, because I felt that the money that I raised went to a place that was going to do good, And there's such a value in this country of what they have. Democracy, no army, love, it's different here.
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
special.
I tell people all the time, probably much like you, a lot of people thought I was a bit crazy when I moved here 16 years ago. And I remember I even had a news article talking about these crazy people moving to Costa Rica. But, at the end of the day, I always say that it's better to do things in life and not regret the decisions, later on, saying, I wish I would have done this.
Oh, exactly.
Or I wish I would have tried moving to Costa Rica. And
They always said I was so brave. How do you dare do that? In lots of things in life, traveling.
well, it's a lot
Traveling
easier
is
now.
so traveling is so important. Yeah, you just take 3 days to get from Michigan here,
I know.
and 3 days back. What do you have in a vacation? 1 day if you
Well,
leave
that's
in
what
a
I'm saying.
week.
When my mom used to bring me here from Buffalo, there was no such thing as a non-stop flight. There was multiple layovers. We would get stuck in El Salvador. Oh, I have lots of stories too. So I saw that out of the eyes of a child, being stuck in El Salvador with with your 3-minute phone card so you could call the States or whoever you needed to talk to let them know you're not showing up in Costa Rica today. So I totally feel you. But no, I think it's amazing all the things you've seen. You've made such an amazing place here. It's special, just like you. And I know that
It's very
people feel
tranquil.
that.
People come here.
Yes.
It's very healing, and horses are healing. And there's something about being in this green area, and the climate is wonderful. People say it's hot, but I left Michigan. It's cold, so I'll never complain about the heat.
Did you know when you left Michigan that you would do something like this?
I certainly didn't know it would evolve into this, to have a guest ranch and have people come and stay for a week, 2 weeks, and plan their vacations for them, raise these horses, have baby horses. When I was sick that time, and that's about 15 years ago, I felt if I never ride again, I'm here, what I've done, and I'm so close to the animals, it's so important. But fortunately, I did ride again, and I still ride.
That's awesome.
And not as much, not as crazy anymore, but I do. And being with the horses, being in this kind of an environment, and in Costa Rica, is very healing. I feel as young, I'm a younger person inside. I may look like, on the outside.
We all feel
But
young
I always
inside.
say we are inside, and what is important is what's inside, and you're looking out and you're enjoying. When I taught for almost every subject imaginable, all the ologies. And I always said you're a sum total of your experiences.
Absolutely.
And the more you can experience, and there's good and there's bad and hard times. It was tough coming here. I was going to live on my pension then, and building a business has helped with that. I can afford to have horses, but everything's gone into them. I don't think about that. It's, I don't have boats, I don't have big cars, that sort of thing.
But you're rolling everything into
I have horses and
what you have.
dogs and animals and and
keep you
family that
happy.
comes down. And my daughter just left. My daughter and granddaughter just left. And my son was here with his family. And at Christmas time, he always comes down. And he said, Mom, the first time I came down, they thought it was a big risk. And they said, Mom, but they speak Spanish.
No kidding.
And
did you not speak Spanish at that
I
time?
did. I spoke traveler Spanish because I was bringing groups, and so I did speak
That's like
enough
restaurant
Spanish to get it, cerveza, baño, all those
yeah.
kind of things. But then I studied because it was important.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
My husband said the only class he didn't like in school was English because he had to take English and he
Does
had to
your
have a
husband speak
tutor.
English?
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
did
we
he
learned
back then?
together. Well,
No.
he had a little bit less than I did.
Okay. Okay.
But we speak a Spanglish. We don't even know what we're speaking because half the times it's English,
I'm very
Spanish.
good at Spanglish. I understand that language as well.
Yes,
so
yes,
growing up
and we
with my
communicate
mom.
well. But he went back to school at the University of Latina just so he could understand books in Spanish, videos in Spanish. In English, excuse me. Because a lot of the horse stuff at that time was only available in English, and so he went back to college to get a degree in English.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I congratulate you on what you've done. I love hearing about your past and your present.
There's so many stories. That's what you get when you're a legend.
Well, you are
legend
a
means you're
legend.
old.
No, it doesn't. I said
Yes,
you're
it
epic.
does.
You're epic. But no, I feel like we could have 3 shows and just keep continuing to talk about.
Oh, I
your
might tell you a
stories.
few more stories.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to have you back and continue to be continued.
Yeah, on
But
a
if
specific topic.
Exactly. So if people want to find you, where can they find you? Just a real quick synopsis about what you're offering and where they can find you online.
Yeah, we have 2 parts to our business. We have the Casagua Horses, which are tours and training and lessons and all of that. And then we have the Painted Pony Guest Ranch, where people from the world come and stay with us. We're very small. We don't like groups of any more than 5 or 6.
Okay.
And like the 1 and 2s and 3s. A lot of people don't like that, but we like private tours on the horses. People who love the horses, and we help teach them, A lot of people have their own horses, and they come down here, and they love our horses because of their training.
But beginners can come too. If they
Oh,
don't
yeah,
really know too
yeah.
much, you'll teach them.
Yeah, we have lessons. We recommend kids, take lessons before they start. The big problem is people who haven't had a lot of experience with horses. And right now, like in the States and Europe and places like that, a lot of people don't have the opportunity.
This is true.
It is. And so they want to come down and have lessons. Some people just go for training and riding. But they wind up loving the horses and coming over. We have one couple from the south of Chicago that have been here 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Come back every year.
That's
for
amazing.
7 years. And
So
we have other people.
So if somebody wants to come in, do lessons with you and stay here at the Painted Pony Ranch, they can find you online. Do you have a website?
Yeah, we have a website, casaguahorses.com.
Okay, perfect.
Or paintedponyguestranch.com.
Well, that's easy enough.
And then we have a new one. It's more for training, and it's called Costa Rica Equestrian Experience.com.
Perfect.
Or just look up Casagua Horses. Will show up all over the internet.
I know you will. I know you will. Like I said, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I know you're a busy lady and you've got a lot going on, and this is really a lot of fun for me.
Good.
And I think it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody else that's watching it. So.
My pleasure.
So remember, guys, if you want to come out here and experience the real Costa Rica, Casagua Horses Painted Pony Guest Ranch with Miss Kay Dodge, look her up. And again, thank you for joining us here at Dream Catchers. Be sure to give us a like and tune in to our next episode and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ciao. Pura vida.
Pura vida.